because we got another nice day. Today we're going to be talking about some things that I think you all could use a refresher on. So I really want you all to watch this video. We're going to talk about citations, how they differ from writing about nonfiction to writing about fiction. And I'm also going to talk to you about setting up your works cited page and page numbers and the format of your paper, because though I would like to assume you know how to do that, it is evident from some of the papers that you've turned in that you don't take use of the information that I give you to do on your own. So we're going to go over it together in an effort to get you to do it correctly. So watch this whole thing. It might be a little bit on the long side. I'm not sure. I haven't filmed it yet, obviously. But I'll try not to ramble too much, okay? Today is Wednesday, and so you don't have anything due other than your works cited page, turning that in, okay? And one thing I wanted to talk to you about, you still need a works cited page even if the only thing that you're using is the one book that you read, okay? Anytime you get information from a source, you need to have a works cited page, because you didn't come up with it all from your head, so you have to cite the place that you got the information from, okay? So we'll flip this around and go over the information that you need. We are going to be using this reference today. We are going to be talking about the differences between writing about nonfiction opposed to writing about fiction, which is what you're used to doing in this class. When writing a paper about a piece of literature, you only cite the parts that you quote. You don't have to, like when you summarize the book, you don't have to cite that. You only cite things that you have quoted. When writing about nonfiction, for example, our book choice, or when doing research for anything, you need to have in-text citations for any information that you glean from the text, even if you aren't quoting it. The exception to this would be common facts that are generally accepted knowledge. So, like, you don't need to cite that, World War II started in 1941, or anything like that, or that's when the U.S. joined the war. But you would need to cite more specific things that wouldn't be considered common knowledge. Now, when in doubt, like if you didn't know the information, the only reason why you knew it is because you read it in the book, go ahead and cite it. It's never wrong to cite too much. I mean, unless you're really going crazy and citing like every single sentence. That's absurd. But when in doubt, go ahead and cite it, and then you don't have to worry about unintentional plagiarism by not citing something. Okay, so a few things to go over. Using an in-text citation for paraphrase material. So when you're not quoting something, you're putting it in your own words, but you got it from the book. So I used a few examples from my book. So the first one is when you use the author's name in the sentence. I think you guys know how to do this, but we'll go ahead and go over it. According to Reynolds, in the citation, I don't need to have the author's last name because it is right here. Okay, it is in the same sentence. The way you do it if you don't use the author's name, so this I just kind of stated a fact, I put the author's last name and the page number, okay? So you always put the page number even if you're not quoting, so even if you're paraphrasing. Also, notice the placement of the period, that it goes out here, okay? I double-checked that on Purdue's Online Writing Lab website before doing this, so it is correct, I promise. All right, so now I want to talk to you about your works cited page. And I'm going to pop this up. I already formatted a little bit of the paper because I wanted you to see how it was done correctly, but then I left some of it to show you. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice, this is in Arial, and I want you to have your papers in Times New Roman. So we're going to highlight the paper. This is running really slowly for some reason. Let's just do that. I hit Control A to do that. And then I'm going to change this to Times New Roman. Okay, notice this will be your name, my name, the class, and the day you're turning it in. Okay, not the day you write it, or start it anyway, but the day you turn it in. Then this is the title of my paper. Notice it is not the title of my book, because you don't want to do that. Okay, and then I have my introduction here. One thing I want to show you first is how to insert page numbers, because some of you don't do this correctly. So you're going to go up top, click on Insert, and then you are going to scroll down here to where it says page numbers, and then it gives you a lot of options. You want yours at the top, and you want a page number on the first page. This is on the top, but like for a title page, and we're not doing that. Okay, so click here, and you'll notice you get your page number. But the thing that you need to add, and you need to make sure you add it on the left side of the number, is your last name. Okay, so I think mine is name. Yeah, so if this was the student's actual name, it would be name. So this is your last name. One thing that a lot of you forget is this is still in Arial. Okay, so highlight that, go to Times New Roman, and then on subsequent pages you will get the next page number, but then still the last name. Okay, notice that this is all double spaced and that there are no extra spaces. You're not going to impress me with how many pages you have if you hit enter 1,000,000 times between each paragraph. Okay, obviously this is gobbledygook, but I wanted to give you an idea of what the paper would look like as a whole. Okay, so when you come to the end of your paper, you want your works cited page. Do not just hit enter a gazillion times to get to the next page, because that doesn't format correctly, and if you submit that, it might show me that your works cited page starts at the very bottom of your page, or like 5 pages later. Okay, so what you do is you're going to hit Control Enter, and that forces a new page, okay, in the code. So no matter what format you turn it in, it will always be on another page. If you just hit enter a bunch of times, the formatting may be different in the way you turn it in, and it won't translate to being on the next page. Okay, all right, so this is going to be our works cited page. I want to center it, and I'm going to type works cited. Okay, not works cited page, just works cited, and hit enter. And then I'm going to make it go over to this side, so align it on the left. And then I'm going to put my sources. If you have a physical book, it's super easy. You will go to EasyBib, do create citations, go to book, and if you have the book in front of you and you have the ISBN number on the back, you can do that. But I don't have my book with me, which I probably should have done that ahead of time. And it's going to look for oh, it didn't find it. Okay, at least I don't think it did. Oh, we're gathering information now. Here we go. All right, so it's the first one. So I'm going to cite it, click that button, and then it's saying, are you sure this is the right book? And I am going to say, yes, it is the right book. And then this is important. You need to make sure, once this pops up, that it has all of the information that you need. And if not, the things will show up with like an orange border. Now, this, I don't have anything that has an orange border. but like it might not be able to know what your publisher is or the year it is, then you need to go to your book and look for that information. Don't just hit next. So if there's anything with an orange, I think it's orange, maybe it's red border, go to your book and look for it, okay? And then you're going to complete citation. If you got your book from an online source, I'm going to show you that in a minute. Okay, so here is my my thing, and what a lot of you do is you just highlight this and paste it, and that doesn't do what you need it to do. So what you need to do, we're going to try a couple of things. We're going to do copy citation, and then we're going to go back to our works cited page, and I am going to hit paste. Okay, so this is what happens. It translates it like this. Notice if you go back to EasyBib, it has this hanging indent where this is the name is all the way over here, and then the next line is indented. But when we go over here, we don't have that. So we need to fix it. So you're going to highlight it, just the citation. This gets a little tricky, but it's not that hard. Then you're going to grab this triangle up here in the ruler, slide it over to the 50, and then you're going to take the rectangle and move it back. You can't just move the triangle by itself for some reason. Oops, I didn't get that right. There we go. Okay, and so now we have our hanging indent, which is what we want. Okay, now if you use more than one source, and you can, you just don't have to, your sources need to be in alphabetical order from the author's last name. Okay, so if I had another source that was from Smith, it would go down here, or if I had another source that was Baker, I would hit enter and move this down. But this is my only source, and so I'm going to leave it as such. Okay, today you're going to be turning in just a works cited page, but if you want, you can go ahead and set up the first page. You can set up all of this and get it ready, and then just do the control enter to get your works cited page, or you could turn in a completely separate document. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, I hope this has been super helpful. I'm pretty sure that is the end of the slideshow. Yeah. I hope it's been helpful. Please, if you have questions, email me. I can email you back, or we can set up a really quick Google Meet for a second, and I can share my screen with you so I can show you on the Google Meet how to do it. Sometimes that's easier than an emailing back and forth, okay? All right, I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope your papers are going